There are cases where the system makes a mistake, and then there are cases where the system knows and proceeds anyway. This is one of those cases. In Williamson County, a man named Michael Morton lost 25 years of his life, not because evidence was missing, not because the truth was unknowable, but because the truth was hidden. What you're about to hear is not a story about a wrongful conviction in the abstract. It is a case study in deliberate silence and evidence locked away in a system that chose closure over correctness and in the cost of that choice. This episode is not about outrage, it's about documentation. Because when the facts are laid out slowly, clearly, the conclusion becomes unavoidable. The system didn't fail Michael Morton, it betrayed him. Before Michael Morton became a name in law textbooks, before legislators invoked him as a proof of reform, before his case became shorthand for prosecutorial misconduct, he was a husband, a father, a working man. Michael Morton lived in Williamson County, Texas. He worked as an assistant manager at a grocery store. He was married to Christine Morton. They had a young son. By all accounts, his life was ordinary. And that detail matters because wrongful convictions do not begin with monsters. They begin with normal people placed under suspicion. On the morning of August 13th, 1986, Christine Morton was found dead in their home. She had been brutally attacked. And within hours, the machinery of accusation began to move. From the start, investigators focused on one person, Michael Morton. There was no physical evidence linking him to the crime, no blood evidence, no eyewitnesses placing him at the scene. But there was a narrative, a familiar one. The husband did it. Police theorized a domestic dispute. Prosecutors constructed motive from speculation. Grief was interpreted as guilt. And then, critical information that contradicted this theory began to surface. Christine's mother reported that Christine had told her she was afraid of a stranger lurking near the home. Their young son gave statements suggesting his father was not the attacker. Neighbors reported suspicious activity. A credit card belonging to Christine was used after her death by someone else. This information did not disappear accidentally. It was withheld. Trial, the jury never heard about the stranger. They never heard the child's statements. They never heard about the credit card usage. What they heard was a story, crafted carefully, selectively, about a man who supposedly snapped. The prosecution presented Michael Morton as cold, unfeeling, distant. Grief was framed as suspicion. Shock was framed as indifference. And when the defense asked for evidence, the prosecution said it had complied. That statement was false. Michael Morton was convicted in 1987. He was sentenced to life in prison. His son was 3 years old. Prison time does not pass evenly. For Michael Morton, each year was marked by appeals denied, motions rejected, doors closed. He maintained his innocence. He wrote letters. He filed motions. He asked for DNA testing. Again and again, he was told no. The evidence was said to be unnecessary. The conviction was said to be final. But truth has a way of waiting. In 2011, after decades of resistance, DNA testing was finally ordered. The results were conclusive. The DNA found at the crime scene did not belong to Michael Morton. It belonged to another man. That man went on to commit another murder, a murder that could have been prevented if the truth had been told the first time. Michael Morton was released after 25 years in prison. He walked out free, but not whole. The aftermath of the Morton case was unprecedented in Texas. For the first time, a prosecutor, Ken Anderson, was held accountable. He was found in contempt of court. He served jail time. He was disbarred, and the Texas legislature passed the Michael Morton Act. The law requires prosecutors to share evidence with the defense, all evidence, not just what fits the narrative. It was a reform born of failure. Michael Morton's case is often told as a story with a happy ending. Exoneration, reform, justice restored. But that framing is incomplete because nothing restores 25 stolen years. Nothing returns a childhood missed. Nothing undoes a system that knew and chose silence. This case matters because it provides something crucial. Wrongful convictions are not always accidents. Sometimes they are decisions. And if they are decided once, they can be decided again. This is unbreakable because truth survives even when buried, and silence eventually does not. If you believe the story should never be repeated, remember it. If you believe transparency matters, demand it. And if you think this can't happen again, ask Michael Morton how certain the system sounded the first time.